things. Here we are, What If Wednesday. Hi, everybody. I'm Mindy Audlin, author of What If It All Goes Right? And this is our What If Wednesday connection time, our gathering time to come together with our What If Up community and just see, like, how's your week going? How can we support you in having an upbeat, positive, powerful week? And so that's what we do. We come together to share positive possibilities. We what if up into possibility instead of going down that rabbit hole. You know, the one, what if it doesn't work? What if I can't? What if somebody else could do it better? We don't do that. We don't what if down. We what if up into new possibilities. And I'm so glad you are here with us to connect and to share. Let me know who you are, where you are, what's going on in your life. If you've got anything that you would like us to what if up for you, post it in the comments. Today's theme for What If Wednesday is really about this thing. This thing. I don't know if you've ever been maybe scrolling around your social media and seeing all those posts of all the people on their vacations and celebrating their anniversaries and happy birthdays and all the good things that are happening for all the other people. And maybe as you start seeing all of other people's successes and promotions and all the great things, maybe your self-esteem might kind of go. If that happens to you, that's actually a phenomenon that has been studied since the 1950s. It's called social comparison. And upward social comparison is when we tend to look at other people, we look at how they have it all together, and by comparing ourselves to them, it's disheartening. It can be very diminishing sometimes when we just focus on other people's success. Now, here's the thing. When you look at those social media posts, first know that they are all filtered, right? They're not only filtered because we choose to put out there the things that we want people to see, but they're also filtered because the algorithms of social media are designed to put front and center the big deals, right? So it's going to, not only are we going to put out our best stuff, but the best stuff is going to get out in front of more people. So we tend to see all the highlights of everybody's life. And when all we see are the highlights, we forget that we are all human. We are all on this journey together. And sometimes it can take us down that spiral. So if your imagination is doing this, I call this an imagination trap. If your imagination is doing this to you, you're using your imagination to think about what somebody else's life looks like and how great they have it. What if you could take that same power of your imagination and you could use it to imagine your own life, to imagine what success looks like for you on your own terms. So that's what we are talking about today in What If Wednesday. And to join me, I am thrilled to bring to the conversation our own joyful genie. Hello, Natalie. How are you today?
I'm great. I feel like I'm in college learning stuff from you. So
learning stuff. Yes, we are learning about social psychology today and social comparison, upward social comparison. And you know, we do it both ways. Sometimes it's like, you know, we look at people and like, oh, at least I don't have my life like that. You know, so sometimes we look at it like, okay, well, it could be worse, but it doesn't matter whether we're comparing up or comparing down. I read a quote once. It was something like, whenever you compare yourself to someone else, you are either, you know, making yourself feel good or making yourself feel bad. But it's like none of it's based on reality. All of it is based on this filter of how we see other people living, and that requires imagination. So if we are using our imagination in a way that doesn't feel good or that gives us a false sense of bravado, what if we just use our imagination to really imagine what success looks like on our own terms? So any thoughts on that, Natalie? Any experiences or things you'd want to share from your perspective?
Experiences. I might have posted a little something about this recently.
You might have inspired this, actually, because it's a really great topic. And I think a lot of people experience this. So what happens for you?
I think I get a false idea of what people's lives look like because they are just posting the great things. And I really don't post all that often. So I'm thinking, well, I like your sound effects though when the self-esteem was going up and down. So that might be something I like. Yeah. So what if I could just, well, I'm already throwing out what if I could just celebrate every little thing without needing to post it? What if it's an inner celebration?
Yeah. Yeah. And what if we don't have to filter, things? What if we can just like say, here's what I want to share. Here's not what I want to share. Now, here's the thing to know, and I'm going to put this out there in full disclosure because I tell a lot of stories. I tell a lot of personal stories. Sometimes, I try to be real and authentic with it. But I will also say that whenever I tell a story that is not just about me and my own inner experience, if I tell a story that involves my kid or my family or my friends or anyone that is identifiable, if I say, hey, my spouse did this, I never ever share a story that I don't run by them first. I say, hey, we may have had an argument and I want to use that to share a point, but I'm not going to share it until I have okay from everybody in that story. And sometimes they're like, you know what, I would rather not have that out there to the world. So, and fair enough. So I can share my experience, but I don't share it all because it's not fair for the other people who are part of my life. They have their boundaries as well. So that being said, there is a filter. I mean, there's a filter on what goes out, not to mention the filter that Facebook puts out or all the social media puts out that says, hey, it's your birthday. Everyone's saying stuff about it. So it's going to push it out so that everybody sees what you did for your birthday. How great. So it's a very skewed reality that we see. Mm-hmm. And so today is about noticing that and noticing what it's doing to our mindset, what it's doing to our imagination, what it's doing to the way we feel, so that if we are feeling triggered by it, we can turn it around. So that being said, speaking of feeling good, I am really excited because our community continues to grow. Natalie, who is new? Let's do a little welcome shout out.
Well, I'm glad you asked. We have Kim, Blaine, Elsie, Michael, Marilyn, Catherine, Yvonne, Tina, Mary Lou, and Joe Lynn. Woo.
Well, hey there, everybody. It is so good to see you here. I see Alex is joining us live. Oh, look at this. I see all these fabulous comments. So feel free to comment if you're watching live, if you're watching in the recording. We're always in here checking out your posts. Alex is so happy to see y'all. I can tell you firsthand, my life is not as pretty as it looks on social media. Yes, anybody else out there, throw a heart on that. If you're like, yes, you get to see a piece of it, but you don't get to see the whole thing. I mean, it's not even possible to see the whole thing. She says, I find it difficult to post anything I feel might bring someone down. And I tell you, I think this is a really good point too, because sometimes if we feel like my wins or my good news is going to bring someone down and therefore we don't share it, it's really lowering the bar, right? Because then we're saying, okay, it's just kind of that's kind of backwards. I don't want to share something because it might bring someone else down. What if we could be in a world where that isn't an issue? What if we gave ourselves permission to celebrate our great moments, to celebrate our greatest joy and our greatest happiness? What are some what ifs that come up for you, Natalie, as you think about it?
I was thinking, what if that opens the door for people to ask our advice or ask us how we did it? So we're not protecting them. We're actually asking them to step up with us.
Yeah. What if we look to other people's successes with eyes that are looking for clarity on what I want? What if we look to what other people are doing on their vacations, on their birthdays? We look at their lifestyle, we look at what they're doing, and what if that gives us clarity on the lifestyle that we want? So that all the good things that we see are reinforcing for us the possibility of it.
Ooh, what if Facebook is like one big vision board where we just pick the stuff we like?
Yes. What if every time we see something that we like, we get greater clarity, and every time we see something that we're like, ooh, don't want that, it's greater clarity. Alex says, I also find that people seem to be offended frequently and unexpectedly. So now I really guard what I post. Yeah, isn't that interesting? So what if I've been finding this too, because I was posting some things and most people are like, yeah, great. That's what you're up to. That's what you're doing. That's great. And every now and then I get someone who is offended or someone who thinks differently or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? The great thing is I can choose whose comments I want to see. I can choose who I want in my Facebook world. What if Facebook and social media is an opportunity for us to practice cultivating our own reality? What if we get to create this world where, what if we could create a world where we look around and we see people celebrating? We see people happy. We see people doing great things. And what if, in seeing that, it doesn't diminish us? But what if we recognize that it's a filter that is allowing us to create this new vision of what life could look like?
If we put on a costume and go on a scavenger hunt looking for those gems.
Yes. What if we look for things to celebrate with each other? And if I'm down, I have a very hard time sharing that because I don't want to be a downer. Isn't that interesting? It's like when I'm down, I don't want to be a downer, but when I'm up, I also don't want to be a downer, which neglects the point that other people are responsible for their state, and I'm the only one that can really, I can control my state, like my imagination. The theme for this one is, what if you keep your imagination to yourself? And what I mean by that is, what if you use your imagination to envision your own ideal lifestyle, your own idea of what's possible, rather than seeing, we really make up what we see other people's lives. We're filling in the blanks with our imagination. What if instead of doing that, we use our imagination to fill in the blanks for our own life so we can step into the life that we want?
Well, that sounds like fun. I like that.
Isn't it like fun? Alex says, I absolutely love celebrating y'all's wins. We love celebrating your wins. Isn't it fun to celebrate wins with each other? So this is the possibility. I was teaching a prosperity class once, and I remember we were talking about visioning, or I don't know, we were a couple weeks into it, and I had a participant who was really struggling. She had some really intense challenges happening in her life that she had shared with us. And then afterwards she came up and she said, Mindy, I don't know if this stuff, all this affirmation stuff and mindset stuff. She's like, I don't know. She's like, it may work for you because you don't struggle like me. You don't know what it's like. You don't know, you've got it all together. You don't know how hard it is. And it was really interesting because at that time I was having some very real, very big struggles in my own life. But it wasn't part of the story that I was telling. It's like, I don't want to tell the story of my struggle. I want to tell the story of my overcoming. And so that's what you're going to hear, because that's the story that I want to live into. And all the rest was her imagining what my life was like. And I'm like, oh, what if you could imagine that for yourself? Like that life that you think I'm having, what if you could imagine that for yourself and live into it?
What if we cast ourselves in our own favorite sitcom?
Yes. What if we are the star of our own sitcom? I love that it's a sitcom. What if we could laugh at it? What if we could be light about it? Alex says, I cheer out loud for y'all daily. Where are my pom-poms? I need pom-poms for Alex today because we're cheering for you too. I love it when you share your art. I love it when you share your creations. I love it when you share your breakthroughs. I love it when you share your birthday parties and going out to eat and what you had for dessert. I love seeing the richness of life that is moving through this community. So Natalie, what's your possibility for our What If Up community in terms of how we interact with each other and how we see each other when we're sharing authentically, not just the good stuff, but the real stuff, the authentic stuff? What advice would you give, or what ideas or possibilities do you have for this community?
I would say, what if we could just know that it's a safe place and that we don't have to even know each other to be able to support each other or to share authentically. So I think there's just something nice, and I haven't met everybody yet, but I know everybody has my back. So there's something really nice built in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an intentionally cultivated reality where when you walk into our Facebook group, when you come into a What If Up event, there is a structure in place. There are, we got the rails on. And when you step into this space and you know that it is a what if up culture, that if you're feeling like you're kind of down in the dumps, that we can what if up, we can kind of help you inch up. We can use our imagination to see you getting through that hump. And when you're celebrating, we can use our imagination to just picture that spilling out into all areas of your life, sending ripples out into the world and influencing everybody that you come across.
That sounds like a good world. I want to live in that one. So
That's my choice. What if,
yes.
I see sometimes I look on TV and I see people that are spewing out these things that are just seem toxic, that seem divisive, and they're not at all grounded in any kind of reality, but they spout it so consistently that it becomes reality. And as I watched that, I thought, what if this community could do the same thing, but in the other direction? What if we could vision a Pollyanna world? And what if that Pollyanna world, like in the story of Pollyanna, becomes the reality because that's what we affirm and that's what we step into. All right, good. So, where do we go from here? Alex says, I love to learn from everyone's success. Yes. So, yeah, I do too. I do too. What if that is how we see each other? What if this is a safe place to share your wins, to toot your own horn? And what if it's also a safe place to come in and just say, hey, I'm struggling. I'm not seeing it today. And knowing that this is a place where you'll be held and uplifted. All right. Feel good?
I
There's a
feel like
deep breath in.
I lost 10 pounds. That's what it feels like.
Yes. What if we lose 10 emotional pounds every time we come to this group? I love it. Well, happy What If Wednesday, everybody. We'd love to see your comments, your shares. What's going on for you? Post it in the community. Natalie, thank you for being here and being the cheerleader for all of us in our What If Up Facebook group. Welcome to all of you who are new. Keep inviting your friends. And we have a really, really exciting summer in store. So invite your friends so that they don't miss out. This is the place to be. So thanks, Natalie. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Have a great week and keep on what if upping. We'll see you soon.